Hello Year 11s, welcome to your Chapter 16 videos for your holiday homework. So I'm just going to go through the slides, hopefully it's going to make sense, and then right at the end you're going to have a few questions. Okay. So we're starting with exercise 16A and recognise relationships. Mainly recognise what is a positive trend, what's a negative trend, and what is a zero relationship. This links to a lot with our if we're walking up the hill or we're walking down the hill type slope. Okay, so our learning intention today is to recognise the rates of change within a graph. Our success criteria, so how do we know that we've succeeded? So I can determine what a positive, negative, and zero rates of change looks like. So, positive rate of change. If the graph shows that y is increasing as x increases over some interval, then the rate of change of y with respect to x is positive. So what that means is, if I've got my graph, I've got a slope like this. So as x increases, y will also increase. Okay, this is our sort of our rise over run, what we're looking at as a positive slope. As we can see, we are walking up the hill in this instance. Okay, so this can also be applied to non-linear graphs. Okay, so what they can look like, that could look like something like that, like a quadratic. As x increases, y is increased. However, with a non-linear, as x increases again by the same amount, y will increase by more. So notice that y is changing. There's a different rate of change as we're talking about. Okay, and this will continue on as we move forward. So we've got our negative rate of change. So if the graph shows that y is decreasing as x increases over some interval, then the rate of change of y with respect to x is negative over that interval. So as we can see there, we've got a negative slope. So what we can have is x is increasing, y will decrease, and this is a negative rate of change. And that's what we're looking for at the moment. What does a zero rate of change look like? Okay, if y remains the same value as x changes, the corresponding graph is a horizontal line, and the rate of change of y with respect to x is zero. So what you've got is a horizontal line. So as x is increasing, y is not changing. Okay, there's no change in the value of y. It is constant. Now, an example, we've got a little cubic there. So for the graph shown below, and we've restricted the domain, so the domain is from -5 to 2, so including those values as well, because we've got the little square bracket. We're going to use interval notation to describe the values of when the rate of change is negative. Okay, so when the rate of change is negative, remember this is a point in time where we're walking down the hill. So that section is located there, so as I've got listed right there with the cursor. Okay, so I've created a blue box. So that rate of change is negative because we're walking down the hill. So how do we describe that? We talk about that domain. So the domain is, it starts at -3, okay, and finishes at 0. Notice that I haven't included -3 or 0. Mainly because is at those points the rate of change is 0. There's what we can draw is a flat tangent, okay, just a flat line on the very top. So we don't include those values because rate of change will be 0. It's neither positive nor negative. So that's just what I've typed there. Okay, so we are not including -3 and 0 as a gradient of 0 is neither positive or negative. So they're separate. Okay, now the next part is part B. So which of this section would be positive? So as we look forward, I've got on the right hand side is our two boxes. Okay, there's 2 points in time where we are walking up the hill. From that first blue box with the cursor, okay, that width there is x, and then the second one there. Okay, so I put blue boxes around them. How do we describe that section? What we do is we're listing the domain where the section is positive. Okay, so the first section is x is an element of -5, so we're including -5. Okay, because the initial graph over there included the -5 up to -3. But notice at this point in time, I'm not including -3 because remember that is our 0 rates of change, which is neither positive or negative. Then we go or the union sign, the little U, Open bracket 0, because remember this is another 0 rate of change that is located near the 0, comma 2. So we finish at 2. So these are our 2 sections of our positive rate of change. Okay, so please make sure you just listen those domains correctly. And again, I just stated that we're not including 3 and 0, as a gradient is neither positive or negative. Okay, so you've got a list of questions there to do. So questions 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 from question 16A. This is the first section, so complete those questions. Please get the notes in your band of reference, and then start the video for 16B. Thank you.